It was the moment our life changed. So when we were told that there was a large mass in Camille's brain, it just changed our lives forever. And I'm not sure we really knew the impact at that moment, because nobody mentioned the cancer word. And there was part of me thinking, oh, that's fine, you know, we'll get it removed. And then slowly the reality sunk in, and you know, as the consultant kept talking, I can only describe it as feeling like an out-of-body experience, like that I was being recorded and this was some sort of game show. And the other way I've described it over the years is also like this feeling, and I think those feelings came later when we got more information, and it just felt very much like being buried alive, because there's no running away from it. Even now we're 15 years on and I still can't adequately put into words that devastation, and our lives have never been the same since. The support, looking back now, pre-treatment and post-treatment, it's just been outstanding. We know we can pick up the phone and call the team at any time, and they will very quickly help us with whatever we need. We have that continuity with Tom's Trust that we can really rely on, and you know, they've just been fantastic, really have.
It was the moment our life changed. They took him for an MRI scan, and that was when we met Simon, and he said Freddie had a brain tumour. And they didn't think it was going to grow. They thought it was some sort of like maybe mole on his brain or something, some sort of tumour. They couldn't work out what it was or if it was going to grow. And this was in the June. And then in the November, he had another MRI scan to see how it was, and it grew 10%. And we were told then that it was definitely a brain tumour and that they were going to have to operate on it. 10% in 3 months was a lot, and if they left it to grow, then it could potentially cause more damage. When we received the diagnosis, I didn't really understand what it meant or how the future was going to be. I wasn't really bothered about any outcome apart from having Freddie, or when they said they didn't know whether we would be able to walk again, or it didn't really cross my mind as much as it does now. Back then, I just wanted Freddie here, and that it wouldn't have mattered how he would have been. I think of all the help and the support that Tom Trust has given us when I think of Tom's Trust, and I don't know where we would be without the support of Tom's Trust and Sarah. And I can't thank them enough for all the support and help that they still do give Freddie.
It was the moment our life changed.
When we first got the diagnosis, it was actually with a different doctor to the doctors that had been looking after us, so it was already a bit weird and uncomfortable because we hadn't built a rapport with him. And he said he just wanted to take us into a different room and talk to us. So we went out, and he told us that he had a brain tumour and that it was resting on his pituitary fossa and on his optic nerve, and that he was at risk of going blind, as well as many other things coming from his pituitary gland. And eventually they came back and said they were 95% sure that it was benign, but it would be watch and wait. And it still is watch and wait 7 years later. I still to this day don't always deal with it very well. Some days it does make me really sad and worried, and I just want him to grow up and have a normal life. And to a degree, he does have the most amazing, wonderful life. But there's still that little part of him that doesn't, that we still always have that fear of what if it changes? So many what ifs. I remember that first phone call from Angela at Tom's Trust. I was in my dining room and she phoned, and I'd been asking if there was somebody that I could talk to, if there was somebody that could help us. And actually the hospital had been really quite closed off to start off with, and not that helpful. And then all of a sudden this phone call came, and this amazing lady on the other end of the phone said, "I'm Angela, I work for Tom's Trust. I'm a clinical psychologist, I want to help you. And I think I just burst into tears immediately that somebody was actually going to help me and listen to me, but ultimately help Riley.
It was the moment our lives changed. When we received Grace's diagnosis and our lives changed was A&E referred us for a scan, which was the day after we first went into A&E. We went into the scan. We sat in the MRI scan with Grace. We were taken back to the room, and a doctor said that it's a brain tumour. My wife went, he's trying to say my daughter's got cancer. He said yes. He disappeared. We'd never seen him again. And then the lovely Simon Bailey come in with his team, explained everything to us. It's hard to take everything in at that time. Your mind is wobbling. It's like it's wandering everywhere. Your life does change. It doesn't feel like it's getting any better. You feel like you want to give up. You feel like you've failed as a parent. But then you find something in yourself. You find some resilience. You've got to put your daughter first. The difference for the support that we have from Sarah from Tom's Trust has been massive. She's helped us with various issues with Grace, not just our brain tumour issues, our behaviour issues, helping us with advice of getting Grace into a nice good sleeping pattern, how to react when Grace isn't at her best, advice, and being there to just say, look, things won't happen first try, they'll take time, it's trial and error, a lot of things, especially with a child who's had a brain injury.